Hello ladies and gents, everything between that side of it. I'm Sophia and welcome back to a new video. It's so weird, I haven't filmed in front of my bookshelf since like forever. Since February. Tomorrow is literally June. As I said, tomorrow is June, which means that we are doing a little wrap up. So far I've read 6 books in the month of May. May was a very video focused reading month. All the physical books that I read were for videos, which just mean that I was a busy gal. That's a lie, only 4 were in videos, not the first book I read this month. I read 5 books physically and 1 book on my Kindle. The first book that I read in the month of May, I keep wanting to say March, but in the first month of So the first book that I read in the month of May is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. In April I read Credence, which was my first Penelope Douglas book. Penelope Douglas goes by they, them, if you did not know. It was my first book by them and I devoured Credence, if you haven't seen that video. But I did, it was so yummy. But I know the Devil's Night series is just gonna be perfect for me. So close to binging it, like right now, this night, fully. Don't go to school tomorrow, just binge. I posted a little TikTok and a little Instagram reel asking you guys to pick the book that I wanted to read because I wasn't sure between 4 and everyone said this one. And to be fair, this was a quite popular book on BookTok for a while. It's about a boy and a girl and they were pen pals since they were in 5th grade, so that's a while. I think they're now in like senior year, and there's also a bit of a rivalry. I can never pronounce that word. Yeah, I can never pronounce that word. Rivalry. No, it doesn't sound right. And they never met. Like they promised they would never like meet up with each other. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. The spice. See, it isn't for everyone. I would check the trigger warnings. No, there aren't any trigger warnings in the book, but I would look them up on the internet because there are a few things. Also, a few things in the smut scenes are a little bit like controversial, I would say. Like not controversial, but some people would definitely not be comfortable with reading that. Just to make sure that you are comfortable reading this book. What I thought of it though, I'm just gonna give this a solid 4 or 4.25 because it was really good. For a while actually I thought it was gonna be a 5-star, but I'm not gonna lie to you, after I read this it didn't cross my mind that much, but it was so good. And I finished this in like 3 days or something and I ate it up and it was so good. The thing is about Penelope Douglas, they write long chapters. They're all like 20+ pages. And I prefer when they're like 5. Why do they need to be so long? I would say that in the beginning it is a bit slow, but it does eventually pick up. Like you do have to stick around for like the first like 50 pages, 50 to 75 I would say. I would give this a 2.5 spice rating, and my ratings like 4 stars and for spice are in the description if you want to see that. So it's all explained what it means, because obviously 2 spice could literally be like 4 or 5 spice for you, or my 2 spice is like a 0 spice for you. Like I don't know what shit you would read, but hook me onto it. Book numero, I was gonna say uno, but I was like, babe, you literally failed Spanish class for like half a year. Don't even dare. So the second book that I read was Secrets We Hunt, and this cover is atrocious. I remember that I posted a TikTok with, it was like a weekly reading wrap up, and this cover was just on, it was in there, and I regret posting that. I'm honestly not gonna lie to you. This was not fun. I mean, it was fun, but it wasn't as fun. So this was like part of a series, and the first one was Games We Play. I tried to read that, but I DNF'd it because honestly, I don't know, I think he kept calling her kitten, but like something, I think it was even something worse. And I was just like, babe. And I didn't really like the trope, and then I just looked in the series because in theory, in context, the series sounded really good. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna look at which book sounds the best. I think this was 2 or 3. The 4th one is, I notice when I'm not on my meds, my videos are more fun. Guess what that says about me. I should not be allowed to type. Okay, so it's the second one in the series. So you have Games We Play, Secrets We Hunt, Burdens We Carry, and the last one, Desires We Seek. That one looks absolutely delicious. There's like another like series that this author has, and I might try that one because that one sounds pretty fun. Spice rating, I'm gonna give, I honestly don't even remember any of that, so it couldn't be that. I do remember taking screenshots on my phone of some of the quotes. I think I'm just gonna say like a 2. Sorry, I cannot sit comfortably. I'm gonna shift the angle a little bit because now I can sit better without my legs and feet hurting. Moving on to book number 3. and that is book lovers. So this book and the next book are both in the video that's linked up here. I honestly don't. After my 1.5 years of YouTube, I still don't know where it is, okay? It was in the video with my little lovely boyfriend. Tomorrow is our 1-year anniversary. He made me read Book Lovers. This was on my TBR for the month, so this was actually like one of the only books that I read that was on my TBR. But I really wanted to read another Emily Henry book because I read Beach Read on summer vacation last year. I did really enjoy it, and I know that some people either they love or hate this book. Like I know a few people that DNF'd it as well, but I pushed through it and I actually enjoyed it like so much. Like it was actually such a fun read. I will say I understand where some people were coming from. At some points it was a bit more boring. Like I definitely felt like I don't really feel like picking it up, but I'm picking it up for the sake of the video and like I have to continue reading. And at some points I was like, oh my god, I cannot stop reading. Another thing was there were so many like there were so many like subplots going on and you wanted all of the answers to them, but the thing is the answers like barely ever came. It just felt a bit hurt. Like it felt a bit rushed. But I did have a great time reading this book, especially towards the end. I shed a little tear. It's just like with some of those things, I just get so emotional because it's so sweet and pure. And I'm just like, it is about a literary agent and then an editor, like he edits books. And they met like once and then they just had like this awkward rivalry. Fuck that word, honestly. Don't expect me ever to say that right. Yeah, they like saw each other while she was on holiday and she was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Oh my god, okay, I will say, they had chemistry. Then the other book that my boyfriend picked for me was Priest by Sierra Simone. So actually quite a few people had asked me if I could read a Sierra Simone book. A funny story, it isn't here, but in England I accidentally got Sinner, not realizing that's the second one, so I had to get Priest first, hoping that I would like Priest so I could read Sinner after. The thing is, this one was a bit disappointing. It was really good and I had a shit ton of fun. The smut in here is fucking mental. Some of the scenes, what the actual fuck. But the thing is, I think I went in here with an expectation of too much plot. This is definitely mainly smut, barely any plot. The whole plot is just them, they can't be together because the whole storyline is that he's a priest. So that's kind of like the whole issue. And there is like this other little like factor that's going on at the end, like kind of throughout the story, but it doesn't like mentioned enough that you're like constantly thinking about it. Like only when it gets mentioned you're like, oh yeah, that's also going on. At least I had that. Yeah, but definitely if you go into this thinking this is just a smut book, I think I would have probably rated it a lot higher. I'm just a bit upset because I went into it with such expectations that there would also be a plot, but that's just my own fault, honestly. I have heard that Sinner is like the best out of the trilogy, and I do own Sinner, and that's like Bad Boy and Nun, so that is definitely mental. I just gave this like a good like 3 stars. Like it wasn't anything special, but I had fun, you know. And the spice, I think I'm gonna give it like a solid 3. Then you guys are gonna be so excited about this next book. I finally finished ACOTAR, so I am filming a video not only on ACOTAR but also on other books, so I will not give you a too much in-depth review because that video will be the next one that I'm uploading after this one. So basically it is about Feyre. I think it's Feyre. I'm gonna look it up now because I don't want to embarrass myself. Feyre, okay, her name is pronounced Feyre, so while I was reading I was doing it correctly. She's a huntress, she hunts for her family, and then all of a sudden she gets like basically kidnapped and like hunted. She just gets taken away. That sounds like so happy, but it really isn't. I'm not gonna go too much into it because I kind of went into it not knowing anything. I actually did not know a single thing about this entire series, but I bought the first 2 books. Also for the second one, which is A Court of Mist and Fury, I will probably do a reading vlog on TikTok rather than on YouTube. But yeah, so I'm gonna give this like a 4.5 or 4.75. So it's just not a 5-star. But like a few days after, I was thinking a lot about it, and actually I have been thinking a lot about the world. So, you know, it might change. But I have heard that like this is nothing compared to the second book, so I'm very excited. There is a bit of smut in here. I would just say like 1 star. Like 0.5 to 1 star. It's in there. It isn't crazy. It's like the tiniest amount, but it is then in there. Because I've heard people say that there is absolutely no smut in here. And that is a lie. Because there are like in total maybe like 4 pages of it, but it's there. Yeah, so you guys are probably really happy that I enjoyed this. And this is me entering my fantasy era. Makes me want to reread Warrior Cats, and I will never stop saying that. The last book that I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is an absolute hype. This is super fun and funky. This is a thriller. and this is like one of Sarah Corelli's favorite books. This is a thriller about a married couple, and let me tell you, my reactions were insane. They were fucking mental. I did think for a while it was going to be 5 stars. It didn't end up being 5 stars. That was just simply because I expected there to be more, because basically this book was really, really hyped up and everyone was so shocked by the ending. So I thought, when there was a really big plot twist, I thought there was going to be another one, because there were still like 30 pages left, but it was just kind of wrapping up and kind of like a few more like little things getting answered, but nothing like crazy. So that was just a bit like, I finished it and I was a bit like, oh. But then I thought of like the main twists and everything, and I was like, okay, that was really, really good. It was very well written. But I was just a bit like, for all the hype that I got, I wished, I don't know, I was gonna say I might change my mind, but if I was disappointed, I was disappointed. I need to accept that. But yeah, it's still a def recommend. Like, this is a very, very good thriller, and it's definitely, like, I was reading this at night and I was like, fuck no, I'm gonna go to bed, because I was genuinely getting paranoid. But yeah, no, this is, yeah, there's no spice in here. There's mention of it, but there is no spice. Those were all the books that I read in May. What did you read in May? And honestly, comment, guys. I think it's actually really entertaining to see what you guys have read and what you guys have rated your books. And also, if you have read any of these books or have any opinions on them, I also always like to know, because literally respond to, like, make a heading in my comments for every single book and tell me about it, because honestly, I love to hear your guys' opinion. And as always, if there are any books you want videos on, or if you have video ideas for me or anything, please let me know in the comments as well. If you're still watching, comment this emoji here, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.